How we doing, fellas? Welcome back to the vlog. You haven't seen that new start, have you?
No.
Yeah, that's what I open every vlog with. God, you haven't been watching my vlogs. So it's Sunday, and today on the vlog we're going to cook a roast dinner. So something a little bit different. Yeah, I'm going to do I'll start to finish the whole roast dinner. How I make one, but I'm going to try anyway. See how we get on. I think it's achievable. I think I can do it. I think I'm going to set myself up on a tripod.
Sure you can.
So we're in Aylesbury. Mrs. May's going for a deep tissue massage because she's got a very
Thai massage.
Thai massage because she's got a very deep, very tight left shoulder. I want to say.
I've got a problem with my left shoulder.
Problem with the left shoulder. So she's going to try and sort that out.
Yeah.
So I've got little D with me. You right, Dulce? Yeah. Good. So I'm going to Marks and Spencer's to get the veg. I've then got to go and find myself a Yorkshire pudding tray because Mrs. May threw my last one away, didn't you?
It got ruined though. I didn't just throw it away.
Tends to get ruined when they go in the bin.
Out of
fury and anger. Menopausal anger.
No, I didn't just throw it away.
Right, that's it. I'm throwing away Yorkshire pudding tray.
That would be a good way to hurt you though.
It would, and it did. So I've got to find myself a new Yorkshire pudding tray and keep that under lock and key.
I reckon Poundland.
I think Poundland's got a good chance, good shot of having it. Because Wilco's shut now, am I right? Or is it back open?
It's QD, isn't there?
Is Wilco actually shut?
The QD's changing.
Is Wilco shut or is it still open?
Yeah, Wilco's shut.
So what's there now then? What's there?
Oh, well, maybe it's not shut
I
then.
was going to say, that's a big old shop.
Yeah.
Someone else must take
I'm
it.
going to blow my nose. Sorry, I don't want to be on. No.
She's such a shy nose blower. Never knew that about you. You find things out every day, don't you? so shy when it comes to nose
blowing on the internet.
So that's today, roast dinner. Got to go and buy that. I've got to go and buy a phone case for my brand for my new phone.
Cables.
I've got to get Clark a new case for his new phone.
I'm actually late.
What do you mean charging cables?
I'm actually late.
What do you mean charging cables? That hasn't been discussed.
I need a charging cable. I'm going to go.
You're going to change your phone, so I'm not getting you a new one because you're going to change your phone anyway.
You're going to take the car keys. I'll see you in an hour. But I'm going to do a little bit of shopping straight after.
Oh, God. I thought we'd be in and out.
Lady.
Bye.
She's cross with you.
I'm not cross with her.
Oh, you don't? I thought you were.
She didn't let me go to my friend's house.
Yes, I know.
She didn't let me go to football with my
But we're going to go and do a little bit of retail therapy, aren't we, to cheer you up?
Yeah, with my birthday money.
Yeah.
And my new fidget.
And your new fidgets. So that's it. Into Aylesbury we go. Going to go some shopping, and I'll see you back later in the kitchen. Or I might take you to butcher's because I'm hoping to get the meat from the butcher's at the garden centre near where we live, unless something really takes my fancy in Marks. Little D fancies lamb. Clark wanted beef, which obviously makes the most amazing gravy. So I'm happy with those. Beef and lamb make amazing gravy.
Like beef.
Doesn't have to just clean my teeth.
Yeah, but it smells like beef.
You've done that for the vlog to try and embarrass me.
Look. It does.
I didn't even breathe out. Right, come on, let's go shopping. We have done a bit of shopping. I'm with little D. She's been to, what shops have you been to?
The Works, Poundland, and One Beyond, the Works.
The Works.
And I'm going to Savers.
So I've successfully also managed to get my Yorkshire pudding tray, so we're all good for homemade Yorkies, and we are now here in Mackey's, just a cheeky one. 3 selects, fries, Diet Coke, and a cheeky cheeseburger. Little D's just gone for 4 nuggets and an Oasis because she had a big breakfast. I didn't have any breakfast. So we're just waiting for Mrs. May's massage to finish, and then we'll meet up with her. And then we've got to go to the butcher's, get the meat for the roast dinner, and then we will commence cooking. Looking forward to it. Well, it's taken a while, but I think I've found a decent angle to try and do it. Well, it's not a decent angle, it's a terrible angle, but it's the only one that's going to work because I can't get far enough away from the camera. So let's start the roast dinner process. What's the first thing we do? If you're cooking a bit of meat low and slow, get your meat on. So this is a boned and rolled full shoulder of lamb. It's a beautiful cut of meat. I prefer it to leg. I think shoulder has loads more flavour. I would normally cook this on the bone, but they had this a carvery joint. I thought, why not? It's going to be so much easier. It cooks the same time as a bone-in shoulder, so we're just going to go with it. That was 22 quid, I think, from the butcher that I had to go to today. I would normally go to Beef Olive. I couldn't go there today because they weren't open, and it was a roast on a whim. So there's a butcher in the garden centre near where we live. They're much more expensive, but it's a beautiful piece of meat. How do you cook a bit of meat like this, a shoulder of lamb? Well, low and slow is the only way to cook a shoulder. This will take about 3.5 hours. I'm going to give it about 3.5 hours on 160, uncovered. I'm just going to put some olive oil on it. In fact, we might as well just do it now. massage some olive oil into it. So that's the first thing to do. You've got to get your hands involved when you're doing something like this. So that will give it some stick. Then we'll put it on the bottom here. Just got to wash my hands quickly. Get that going, and then we'll go salt, pepper. So salt, plenty of salt, black pepper. I'm going to go on with some garlic granules. Lamb and garlic goes lovely. In fact, have I got any rosemary in the cupboard? No, I haven't. If you've got a bit of rosemary, wang that on as well. And then we're just going to turn that over onto the top side. Get a bit more salt all over the top. Like I say, don't be shy with the seasoning. Pepper. And then that is just going to go in the oven. 160, 3.5 hours. Forget about it. Don't cover it. No silver foil. Nothing. Just get it in there. Go out, do what you want to do, but leave it. Now, I always do one. Yeah, pretty much always do 2 meats on a Sunday. So we've also got this bit of beef. That is silver side. I've never cooked silver side before, so it's similar to top side. It's got a bit of fat on the top. It looks like it's got a similar muscle-like makeup to silver side, to top side. I've never cooked it before. I'm just going to wing it. I reckon, you know, I'll probably put a meat thermometer in it, cook it on a really high temperature till it reaches like medium rare. Bring it out, let it rest to medium, because Dulcie won't eat it if it's too pink, and see what it's like. Obviously slice it against the grain, and hopefully that'll be pretty tasty. Again, salt, pepper on that, nothing more extravagant than that. So once the meat is in, then it's time to start preparing your roasties. So, roasties. So many different ways of cooking roast potatoes. Everyone's got their own ways, everyone's got their own tricks. I'm normally a pretty straight up normal guy. I'll happily use Maris Pipers, King Edwards, red potatoes. I won't use white potatoes because they don't seem to roast up very well. Today I'm using, where are they? At the bottom of the bag somewhere. Bottom of this bag. Here we are. We're going to go with red potatoes. Red potatoes make a great roast potato, plus they were reduced. So my mind was immediately drawn to them. Now before I start peeling them and getting them ready, I'm going to get a big pan of water on to boil. My biggest one I've got. Which is this one. I never add potatoes to boiling water. I always add them whilst the water's boiling. Don't ask me why, it's the way I've always done it. And again, there's no real kind of rhyme or reason to how long to boil a potato. Obviously, if you read someone's recipe, they'll tell you how long to boil it for. But I basically put a little bit of plastic from the salt's falling in there. Load of salt in the water. Get it on. Start getting it up to temperature. But I just basically cook it until the edges look a bit soft, and if they're starting to break up just slightly, you've really just kind of got to. It's a real eye thing. You've just got to kind of get a look for it. You just want to be able to like feel a little bit of a softness to the potato. But obviously, all potatoes look different as well. I mean, the way we do them at the pub, the chefs steam them at the pub. They don't parboil them. They just steam them in the ration. So that gives you like that seems to give you like quite a fluffy edge. Hello, sweetheart, you alright?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Just dodging about, just chilling. So I'm not going to show you how to peel a potato. Everyone knows how to peel a potato. I'll come back when we get to the cutting stage of the potato, because I'll show you how I cut mine and the kind of size I do my roasties. Okay, so I've got one potato peeled. So this is a pretty, still got a little bit on there. This is a pretty sizable potato. So I like to do mine quite large. So 1, 2, 3. So that's 3 pretty big roasties. But then it'll be a mixture. Then I'll throw in a couple that are a little bit smaller than this as well. Portion wise, I tend to do about 5 per person. That's the way I've always done it, because that'll give you a few leftovers as well. Because not everyone eats loads of roasties.
I don't eat potatoes.
But there you go. Because on our roast we also have mash as well. So
yeah.
So that's the way I work it. Roughly about 5 per person. And quite big, but mix up a couple of small ones as well, because you want those little crispy bits in the bottom. Clark, in particular, loves the crispy bits of potatoes. Right, so I'm going to get these on to boil. Right, next step. So potatoes have now been boiling away for, I think these ones have had about 30 minutes. Probably maybe 5 minutes longer than they should have done. Let's drain these off. Oh no, I think they're fine, they're fine. So let me just, so there they are. So you can see they take a knife, they're soft. So we're just gonna let those steam dry now until we're ready to cook them a bit later. And you basically want them to dry out so the edges kind of like start, you get those like white crunchy, like crystallized edges almost. So I'll show you those before we cook them again. So next thing we're going to get on to is the veg. We're going to start preparing the veg. So, actually no, what time is it? No, we're not. I'll come back. We'll do the veg in a bit. It's a bit early still. And veg time. So the first veg we're going to do is carrots. Now, I got a bit bored of just doing boiled carrots or steamed carrots. So I now do like slow cooked honey, garlic and salt and pepper carrots. They're bloody lovely. They just sit on the hob. They do their own thing. Charlie has just come back. He's not in a good way. He went out last night.
Quite hungover.
Yeah, so these little baby carrots, you get them in like a little packet. Normally get about 8. Top and tail them, and then just straight into a saucepan. So, hold on, let me just do these ones.
What litre saucepan would you recommend?
Just one that's a bit of a big boy, that one. It's not so much of a baby, that one, is it?
It's quite a girthy carrot.
It's a quite girthy carrot. Right, so they're all in there, and then we're just going to put enough water in just to cover said carrots. You're really close. Really, really close. And then into that, we are going to put a healthy knob of butter.
Do you recommend cooking everything with butter?
Always, always. Right, so a bit of butter in there, some garlic granules in, a bit of salt.
What will this do to the carrots?
And a bit of pepper. Mum's back with reg. And if you've got a herb you can go in there, I would probably recommend maybe a bit of coriander. That goes well with carrot. I don't think I've got that either. We're not doing very well today.
What about thyme?
Thyme would go very well with carrots, and I believe we have got some thyme. So thyme and carrot goes really well as well. So a bit of thyme in there, and then basically that just
honey.
Honey's later. So basically what you end up is like water, carrots, butter, and you put that on a very low heat with a lid not firmly on, but just on so a little bit of steam can escape, and that will sit on there for about an hour whilst the carrots soften, the water will evaporate, and then you'll end up with like a buttery kind of mix in the bottom. You can put a bit of white wine in there as well, that works quite well. And then right at the end, and then right at the end, honey over the top, and then that will just kind of like thicken up, caramelise down, and you just end up with these beautiful, slow cooked honey carrots. I'll show you them when they're done, but they're bloody lovely. I literally can't recommend them enough. So I'm going to get that on the hob, and like I say, they just kind of like take care of themselves. We'll come back to that later. Next up, we are going to get on with the Yorkshire puddings, because here it is, the tray from, I can't remember where it got it from, one of the pound shops in Aylesbury. £1. I mean, what a bargain. Now wrong with that. So we're going to get that underway. I'll come back to you with the way I make my Yorkshire puddings. Foolproof way of making my Yorkshire puddings. Right, time to get on with the roast potatoes now. So, what do you cook your roast potatoes in? Loads of different options for this. I remember seeing a Jamie Oliver Christmas programme once where he tried butter, goose fat and olive oil. I'm going to use none of those today, but on those ones, the ones he did in butter were incredible. The thing with butter is obviously you've got to use some good quality stuff, otherwise it burns quite easily and you get like this burnt taste on the outside. So today I'm going to use sunflower oil because it's got quite a high point of heat, smoking point, that's the right word. So just wang a bit of that in. And then towards the end of the cooking, like after half an hour, I'll probably put some chunks of butter in just for that final bit, just to give it like a nice crust on the potato. So that, I'm going to put that in the oven to preheat for about 20 minutes to get that oil really hot, and then we'll come back and we'll do we'll get the potatoes in and show you about fluffing them up and what I put on them before they go into the oil. So the lamb's in. Here you go. Look, I'll show you the carrots now. So the carrots are starting to kind of boil away. The water's starting to evaporate, so they're starting to soften up nicely. The lamb is in, going away well. The beef is coming up to room temperature because that's important to have it at room temperature. And then it's just about starting to do, then we can start making the Yorkshire pudding mix. But I've just realised I haven't got any plain flour, so we're going to have to go to the shop to get some plain flour, which is a massive ball ache. But it is what it is. So we're going to do that now, then we'll make the Yorkshire pudding mix, and I'll show you my foolproof way of making 12 perfect Yorkies. So the oil's been in the oven now for about 20 minutes, so we can start getting these potatoes ready before going in the oven. So that's our potatoes that we parboiled earlier. We're going to give them, the steam dried now, so we're going to give them a bit of a shake up. Now I've never tried this before, but I thought we'll give it a go today. Where is it? Hold on. Roast potato seasoning. Has anyone ever tried this? So sprinkle over root vegetables for a crispy finish. So it's a blend of semolina, sea salt, onions and ground mustard. Doesn't tell you how much to use, so we're going to kind of give it a bit of a eye over. Let's just go with that, because any excess we can just shake off anyway. So we'll give that a bit of a stir around. So we've got nice fluffy edges on those potatoes now, and they're covered in that seasoning as well. So let's get the oil out. Now, there's two ways of doing this. You can either get your thing and pour them in, which basically splashes up a load of hot oil or fat basically. Now, a better way I found of doing it is heat your oil up in your tray and then pour it over your potatoes that way. Now, this does two things. Firstly, it means you don't have to worry about tossing your potatoes over too much, because they've already got a good coverage in all the oil, and basically it's just safer as well. So that can now go back in the tray. There we go. Make sure you get all those little bits out, because that's going to give you nice crispy roast potatoes. So make sure they're nicely spaced out, so they all get a bit of the heat. And then you're going to get those back in. Hot as your oven can go. Just leave them for half an hour. Don't do anything for half an hour. And then we'll have a look at them and maybe give them a little turn, or see if they need any additional help. But essentially, for half an hour, they'll just do their own thing. Now we're going to do the Yorkies. Here we go. Foolproof way to get 12 perfect, hopefully, Yorkshire puddings. You're going to start off with 2 cups, glasses, anything you want, the same size. As long as they're the same size and they're probably over half a pint, you can use any cups you want. And the first thing you're going to do is crack 4 eggs into one of the glasses. So one. Like I say, I mean, there are loads of different recipes and techniques of how to make Yorkshire puddings, but this one has never failed me, so I'll never ever move away from it. It just works. So there we go. Right, that's 4 eggs in there. Any size eggs you want, doesn't matter, just use the same number of 4 eggs. So as you can see, that has come up pretty much to the top of that glass. So we're going to get those 4 eggs into a bowl. Milk up to the same level as the eggs into a bowl, and then flour. This is why you need a separate cup, because obviously that cup's wet. So then you put your flour up to the top, same level as your milk and your eggs. I never bother sieving it. You can do if you want, but I find the lumps kind of come out, and actually the lumps tend to help a Yorkshire a little bit. And then we're going to get a whisk, and we're going to break up the eggs, and we're going to give it a really light mix. You don't want to go crazy with it. Obviously you want to try and get as many of the lumps out as you possibly can, but you don't want to kind of overwork it too much. It's quite a loose batter by the time you've finished, so give it a bit of a go. I mean, some people will kind of whisk it like this because it's something to do with the glutens and how it all works. I've never really been too fussed. I'll give it, you know, a decent mix, but not worry too much if there's a few pockets of flour. So that is basically it. It's like I say, it's quite a loose batter, and then we'll transfer that into a jug that's going to be easier to pour out of when the time comes. So there you go, and that gives you about, I can see it, pretty much exactly 500ml of Yorkshire pudding batter, and then we're just going to stand that to one side until we need it for later. But that is essentially your batter made that will fill that, your 12 muffin trays. This isn't a Yorkshire pudding tray, this is a muffin tray. But it's quite a shallow one, but it's still a muffin tray. We're about 40 minutes away from everything coming together, so it's time to get your Yorkshire pudding tin in the oven. Again, loads of different ways you can do this. Fat, you can use beef dripping, duck fat, sunflower oil, olive oil. Again, I'm just going to go in with some sunflower oil because I know it gets nice and hot. It's basically pretty much a teaspoon in each one. That's what I use. You can do that fancy thing where you fill this M1 up and it fills all the others up, but I can't be arsed with that. So about a teaspoon in each one. If you want to measure it out, you can. And then hot as you can get your oven, get it in 10 minutes, then we'll get it out and we'll pour the mix in. And so carrots are now at the stage where I'm going to put the honey on. So they are kind of reduced right down, the liquid's reduced right down practically to nothing. It's just like a buttery kind of thymy, garlicky, beautiful kind of like little liquor in there. So we'll put the honey over that and then they'll have about another 10-15 minutes and they'll be beautiful. The potatoes are going to come out in a minute. I'll show you those. Let's get this in the oven because then we're kind of underway. The potatoes are out and I've got to say I'm very, very impressed with that seasoning crispy edge. So all we're really going to do is give them a bit of a flip round. Just give them a bit of a flip round so the other kind of some of the edges hit the heat and crisp up a bit. But other than that, they are looking pretty good. And then we're just going to bang them back in for another half an hour. And when when you flip the potatoes, that's the time to get your veg steaming and get your Yorkies in, and then you are half an hour away from starting the plate up. So that is kind of where we're at. So I'm just going to flip all these, get them back in, and they do look good. I'm impressed with that. I'm impressed with that potato seasoning. It is Marks & Spencer's Roots for Roasting seasoning. Go and find that. Well, I haven't tasted it yet. Maybe wait for the taste test. Okay, Yorkshire pudding time. Now this is where you need to work quick. So the oil has been heating up. So we're going to get that out. Also be very careful because it's very hot. And I can't find my oven glove. Which caused me a few problems. Right, we're out. Shut the oven up to keep the heat in the oven. And then, if you need to, give your mix a bit of a stir, which I've already done. And then in it goes. Should sizzle away, which they are. Try and avoid getting any on the bits in between. You want to try and get it just directly into the muffin tray, because if they kind of connect by a little bit, that sometimes stops them rising. Have I done the mix right? Absolutely spot on. 12 Yorkies back in the oven. Now half an hour. Do not open the oven door. And you should, hopefully. Oh, shit. Oh, I can't believe it just done it. Spilt it. Anyway, they should all be okay.
Since when did you get a Yorkie tray?
Bought it today, £1. Absolute bug out. Oh, I can't believe I just did that. That's why they haven't got a bloody oven glove. Anyway, they should be alright. They should be okay. So, what are we doing now? Potatoes are in, veggies on, macaroni, all the other stuff's done. So, we just wait now. We're just going to have to wait. The Yorkies have been in for half an hour now, so let's take them out. I haven't opened the door, so I haven't had a look at them. So they could be a complete disaster, but let's have a look. A triumph. There you go. So 12 perfectly formed, nicely risen Yorkies. Let's have a look at one. There you go. Lovely and brown. You can take them a bit darker than that if you want to, but that is the colour I want. Look. Spot on. So there you go. That's how you make 12 perfect Yorkies. Let's have a look at the roasties as well whilst we've got the oven open. These look absolutely banging. Yeah, nice and crispy. That seasoning, they smell great. They smell absolutely great. So I'm recommending that. Marks & Spencer's roast potato seasoning. So there you go. Roast potatoes, Yorkshire puddings. Here's the roast lamb. So that came out beautiful as well. Lovely bit of roast lamb. The beef's still in the oven. Just waiting for that to come up to temperature. So I think, well, I'll tell you what, we'll end the vlog with I'll show you everything out on the table already and finish it with a gravy pour. That's how we'll finish it today. So this is where the vlog is going to end. I'll show you all the finished food before we eat. So let's run through it. So this is Mrs. May's aubergine parmigiani thing. Here are the roasties. Look at those. They have come out absolutely bloody fantastic. That is the shoulder of lamb. That is the silver side of beef. So it's just cooked exactly how I want. A little tinge of pink. That's the Yorkies. They came out lovely. Sweet corn, because it's the only veg that Charlie eats. Broccoli. There's the honey carrots that I talked about. Macaroni cheese, 2 portions. Cauliflower cheese, mash. And that is Cavolo Nero with sprouts and red onions and peas. Yeah. So there you go. Dinner is served. That's all going to go on the table now. And we are going to scran. Well, that was a seriously good roast. I'm now down here on my own watching the NFL. That is how Sundays finish for me, with a cheeky glass of red. Hope you enjoyed today's vlog. Let me know what you think in the comments. Go subscribe, like, comment, click the bell so you know when I've posted a video. But like I said, we're going to try and I am going to do a vlog every day for the next 30 days. I've committed to it. I'm definitely going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So there you go. That's today's done and dusted. Hope you all had a great Sunday, and I'll see you tomorrow.